Imagine an Olympics where everyone is on performance-enhancing drugs. What might be any anti-doping regulator's nightmare is some millionaire's dream. In 2026, Las Vegas will host the highly controversial Enhanced Games, where athletes will be expected to set world records with the help of substances banned from traditional competitions. German swimmer Marius Kusch has become the first athlete from Germany to confirm his participation, drawing criticism from the athletic community. Kusch defended his decision to take part, saying that swimming had never given him financial stability, and the Enhanced Games would allow him to take care of his family. And at the Enhanced Games, money doesn't seem to be an issue. It's backed by the likes of Peter Thiel and Donald Trump Jr., and prize money for a world record is set at $1 million. Now, the Enhanced Games is set to debut in May in Las Vegas, with swimming, athletics, and weightlifting included. Organizers say their ultimate goal is to build a superhumanity.
Our goal is not to break a world record. Our goal is actually to break all the world records.
We're trying to showcase that utilizing performance-enhancing substances in sports is actually safe and leads to elevated, unseen performance.
Human potential. What is that potential? Where is the max? Where's the limit?
Among the wealthy backers of the event is the son of the U.S. president. Here is what Donald Trump Jr. said about why he invested in the drug-fueled competition. The Enhanced Games represents the future. Real competition, real freedom, and real records being smashed. This is about excellence, innovation, and American dominance on the world stage, something the MAGA movement is all about. The Enhanced Games are going to be huge, and I couldn't be prouder to support this movement that is changing sports forever. For more on this, I'm joined by investigative journalist and doping expert Hajo Seppelt. Hajo, first up, what do you make of the Enhanced Games?
I think this is a very, very, let's say, dangerous development for sports, for the cultural good of sports. We are experiencing doping all over the years in high-performance sports globally. I'm investigating all those cases for a long period of time. And again, it's not always something which has to do only with the athlete himself. It is a system of fraud, a system of corruption, helping to gain money, to get money in this business, not only the athletes themselves, as I said, but also promoters, coaches, doctors, everybody. This is a big business, a big black business, and many people try to hide this development for many years. We talk about state-run doping in East Germany and China and Russia. And now to open, let's say, the box of the Pandora, to open another door, means maybe for many people that we end with a hypocrisy in sports, because doping is widespread. But from my point of view, this would make this situation even worse, because to allow that people cheat, to allow that people maybe damage their health or damage the health of other people is a risky business, and I would never support that.
Mm-hmm. I want to pick up on something that you just said, and I'm sure you know the numbers a lot better than I do, but in 2011, the World Anti-Doping Agency found that 44% of participants in the World Athletics Championship had, in fact, used performance-enhancing drugs, and less than 1% were caught. Now, the organizers of the Enhanced Games argue that allowing drugs, which wouldn't be cheating in their case, is the only way to have an honest competition. What do you say to that?
It's not honest at all, from my point of view. First point is that you have to consider, we are talking about athletes from all around the world, usually, from rich countries, from poor countries with better circumstances, better support by the entourage, by doctors, by coaches, by the federations, even by the governments. So what is fair to say when one country, which maybe big financial background, can support an athlete, an individual athlete, with more money, with more substances, with more methods, dangerous methods of doping, of cheating, and in other countries it's not possible. So, to be honest, what is fair? Nothing is fair. It's even more unfair than before. And the other thing which we need to consider is, if you talk about sports, we want to talk about a level playing field, not only for the public, but also for the athletes themselves. You will never achieve that everything is the same level. There are always differences in individuals, but that doesn't mean that you at least should not. You should try to approach that goal, that the people are at least partially competing on a level playing field. And if you don't do that, then you are lost. And I give you one example, a very easy example for everybody to understand. If everybody is not following the rules in traffic, if, for example, you have a red traffic light and everybody ignores the red traffic light, would that mean at the very end that you say, okay, we don't need red traffic lights anymore because everybody is doing what he wants? That cannot be the answer from my point of view. So a clear answer, we cannot allow this development from a, let's say, cultural and moral standpoint.
The economic aspect in this competition is very fascinating because the event is being funded by the likes of Peter Thiel and Donald Trump Jr. What is their interest in this, you think?
What we experience currently in the whole world, and that's beyond sports, is that everybody tries to challenge and to provoke, let's say, some, from my understanding, good rules. And we want to see how far we can go beyond. It's not only sports, we see that in culture, we see that in media, we see that everywhere in politics. Everybody, at least on higher political levels with a lot of money and a lot of influence, obviously is trying to shift or to ignore these borders. And that's what is happening here in sports. Maybe this is just an idea by some billionaires who want to see what will happen. Maybe they ignore obvious facts. And again, what I missed to say so far in this interview is that you always have to see the health risks. The health risks of doping can be so huge. And if you talk about, let's say, traditional doping, usually we talk about the abuse of already existing medication. We don't talk about invented doping substances. If you abuse, for example, EPO, or if you abuse anabolic steroids, which is really bad, but at least you know the side effects, you know what can happen, because this is experience for decades. But if you invent doping substances, they don't go through clinical studies. Everybody is trying to do the best to maximize the impact. And you don't have the real, let's say, scientific background that can make it so dangerous for individuals. And to be honest, sports should be a role model and should not play a role where you can destroy bodies and souls.
So far, only a handful of athletes have signed up, and the outcry in the community has been huge. Do you think this event can even gain traction among athletes?
Yes, it can, because the problem in many sports is that you cannot earn so much money. So if you talk about football, if you talk about, let's say, tennis or hockey or basketball in some countries, you can earn millions of dollars. But there are many sports, for example, modern pentathlon or gymnastics or even swimming or other sports where you can't get the money you want to have. You invest such a long time in your career, 10, 15, 20 years, and you won't be a millionaire or a billionaire. So I can understand from a personal perspective that people, okay, say, I didn't get back my, let's say, my investment in time and money for many years, so I want to get it back now. So I decide to go this step further and beyond the border to at least get a kind of compensation. I understand that from a personal perspective, but it doesn't mean that I think it's good.
At the Enhanced Games, the prize money for a new world record, just for context for our viewers, is $1 million. We have to start wrapping up, but I do want to know, because you've worked on this for so long, do you think the fight against doping in elite sports is one that can be won, or is it naive to hold on to this ideal?
be honest, this is a very naive ideal. And would you ever think that we will have a society without murder, without crimes, without, let's say, robbery, with abuse in different ways? It will never happen. This is fantasy, this is unrealistic. But what I say and what I can say after many years working in that field or on that field, you can reduce the level of cheating, you can reduce the level of crime and corruption in sports if you, for example, follow up on all this stuff. If you work as a state prosecutor, police, we have many anti-doping laws in the meantime globally in many countries, or even investigative journalism. So yes, I think we need to follow up all of these, and I think you will never have clean sports. But maybe if the sport is cleaner than before, and some honest athletes earn the medals they deserve because they are not cheaters, then I think it's a good idea, and we should focus on that.
That was investigative journalist and doping expert Hajo Seppelt. Great speaking to you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.